Hello, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Suffolk Happenings, and I'm your guest host for today, Johnny Edwards, and I'm here with Mr. Lou Ward. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine.
Well, who do we have on our show today?
Well, we got a special guest. We met maybe a year or so ago, and it was very interesting. The president of Paul D. Camp.
All right. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm just fine.
So glad
to meet you. Thanks for having us here.
Well, listen, this is a very exciting time for Paul D. Camp. Can you tell us what season we're in right now?
Well, we're in graduation week right now, so it's a full week of activities. Mm-hmm. Monday we had Allied Health Ceremony, graduation from medication aid, certified nursing assistant, phlebotomy, pharmacy tech, and some of our other allied health programs. And then Tuesday we had nursing capping. When our nursing students are halfway through, they have a ceremony called a capping ceremony to mark that occasion. And then last night we had nursing pinning, which marks the completion of the nursing program. So those students had finished their 2-year degree and now have to take the NCLEX exam to be designated as a registered nurse. So they're on to that. Today is our end-of-year meeting for our faculty and staff, and then graduation rehearsal, and then Friday night will be graduation. We'll graduate somewhere around 250, 260 students Friday night. So we're real pleased. It's an exciting week. This is our mission right before our eyes, and we all get excited about that.
Interesting thing you said, your mission. You know, a lot of times we talk about college, we talk about getting, enrolled and admissions and the whole process, but this is what it's all about, taking a group. So as a president, looking back on a group and going through graduation, what does this mean for you to have a group that goes all the way through and graduates in whatever time frame they graduate in?
Well, as a community college, our mission is to offer diverse learning opportunities to enhance the quality of life for students in the community. So that's a great mission, and we do that in a real variety of ways. For some students, they come and they just need 1 or 2 classes to get that job, so we provide that. Others want that 2+2 experience, 2 years at community college, save that $26,000 a year that statistically they'll save, and then transfer to the 4-year college of their choice. And with the Virginia Community College system, we have these articulation agreements, we call them, but it's guaranteed transfer and guaranteed admission to Virginia 4-year schools. So that's very important. We have other programs that are just a year or less. Could be welding, could be electricity, could be other electronics, industrial maintenance. We do warehouse and distribution, forklift training, a lot of things that are short term that get you started in your career. That name community college means we do a lot of things for the community. So this summer season, we'll start a thing called Kids College. We've been running that for a number of years now, real successful. We'll do over 90 different programs. We'll have several hundred kids involved from 2nd grade through high school. They'll do everything from kayak to physics to career exploration to bird watching to you name it. There's a program for it. And that we do all over our service region. Main base is in Franklin, but we'll do some in Suffolk, and we'll do some at our Smithfield Center this year as well. So on the other end of the spectrum, for the community, we have a program called Encore Learning, and that's for 55-year plus citizens who want to take classes to learn about technology. We have a class called iPad for Beginners because a lot of iPads and don't know how to use them or don't know how to use them to the best of their capabilities. So we have classes like that. We do cake decorating. We have a course called Art and Whining. So again, we do the gamut. Kids College, career studies, degree, Encore Learning. So it's a great place to work. It's a great mission to have. It's a great asset to the community.
We're coming out of a recession. And I had a conversation last year with Niche Chopra, who was the IT person for the national IT person for the country under the Obama administration. And we was talking about community colleges and their role and, helping, some people who are underemployed or trying to find. So my question to you is, as a community college president, how can a community college help someone who, is underemployed or trying to find their way? I mean, what kind of services do you all have that can kind of help those citizens in this situation?
Well, we have a lot of coaches and admission officers, but we have a career development center on every campus. And that center is staffed with career professionals, what we call a job placement coach or an adult career coach, to help that person who perhaps got laid off or perhaps is just entering into the work field. And then we'll say, well, what careers are out there? Again, there's a lot of data available. We have a website called the Virginia Wizard, vawizard.org. You can go on there, you can do a skills inventory test to see what kind of things you gravitate to or have a penchant to do. It'll talk about financial aid, it'll talk about careers and the salary of careers. It'll talk about the 5 fastest growing careers in a certain zip code. So there's a lot of data out there, and these coaches in our career development centers help to sort through that data, to counsel and talk about what careers are open.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
By me being in the National Borough up there where Harvard View area with the technology, does Paul Camp have some specific classes for that, or maybe
we teach a lot in the technology field and area, everything from computer hardware, how to fix it, to programming, how to write a program. A lot of our classes are taught through technology. We have what's called distance education. Some of our classes are hybrid classes where, let's say you used to go to class Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Right.
Now you may go just on Mondays, and Wednesdays and Fridays would be through technology, through the computer. Most computers you buy nowadays, they have a camera, a webcam, and again, the high-speed internet makes all these things pretty easy to have nowadays, and it's a big advantage when you don't have to get in a car and go to a campus 3 days a week. You just go 1 day a week. In fact, statistically, that's the best way to learn. Not all distance ed, not all face-to-face, but what we call a hybrid, a little bit of each of those. But we do a lot with technology, and of course, we see technology growing, and technology touches every field now. So we are sure to teach the basics and a little bit more to make sure that knowledge is there.
Dr. Conco, can you stay for one more second?
Sure.
Okay. We'll be right back.
Thank you. Pocket change. Sometimes that's the difference between shopping here locally and driving 20 miles into the city. But the real difference is where all that pocket change ends up. When I shop locally, my change ends up in the schools, in the roads, and helps to support our neighbors. So join me in supporting all local businesses. It just makes good sense.
Brought to you as a community service by Prime Media.
We are back. Thank you for staying.
Well, thank you for having me. This is a joy to be here and talk about Paul Camp Community College, my favorite subject.
Well, you're doing good. And I want to ask you, Dr. Conco, about the library, the new library coming in. How you feel about that? And I have talked with, especially a lot of young people, especially Mr. Edwards here, and he said how you can use that particular library so many ways.
You're talking about the downtown Suffolk Public Library that's in the planning stage. Well, we've been to several meetings, and again, as a community college, we've seen the evolution of libraries on our campus and how students use it to study and how things have transformed. The digital world, the technology has just created a lot of opportunities. When we look at the possibility of partnering with the Suffolk Public Library downtown, Suffolk's needed a new library for quite some time, and the new plans and the artist rendering of what could be downtown is just so exciting. And for us, if we have classrooms in there and computers and opportunities for students to take classes over the internet, to provide them with high-speed internet, to provide them with the electronic resources that we have, like Virtual Library of Virginia, it will just create additional opportunity for the citizens of Suffolk. We know that some students, or some potential students, think the Kenyon Road campus is just so far. It's really not, but they think so. They think it's so far.
Yeah.
But just that downtown revitalization, a library just brings such energy to a downtown area. So we want to be part of that energy. We want to be part of where a student can come in, they can register for classes, they can take classes, they can do research, they can have information technology resources. We can have staff there to help not only our students, but the citizens of Suffolk. A good example is that Career Development Center we talked about with those adult career coaches.
Yeah.
They can help a lot of folks think about new careers that maybe they hadn't thought of before. So it would be a great synergy there to have the public library and its resources, to have Pauldie Camp Community College there with our resources, and of course there'll be a lot of blending of that. So we're real excited about the possibilities. We've just renovated our libraries here on the Suffolk campus to kind of blend our computer labs and our library resources to expand the hours so we can stay open longer. Because students need that high-speed internet, they need that computer access, and they need the training and education about how to get these resources off the internet that are good references, that are legitimate resources, and places of where to find things. The Virtual Library of Virginia has millions of books and more access to that information than ever before in our lives. We have a thing called Films on Demand that you can go through our community college portal, and almost any film ever made you can have access to. It's simply amazing. So we're excited about that.
I want to ask you a question. I went to school across the street at Lakeland. Class of '99. I want to put that plug in. But you said something. I was reading the Southern Herald, and I saw 4 students who were highlighted, and who they had this program, and I want you to talk a little more on it. But I want to say this first. You said $26,000 saved. Statistically, 2 years. I just said statistically.
Each year. $26,000 a year versus going to a 4-year college.
Well, let me say this, because when I was in high school, there was a Pauldie Camp stigma. And what I mean by that is, to say you was going to Pauldie Camp, you felt like you wasn't smart enough. But, when you see 4 students, honor students, going to Pauldie Camp in high school and then coming out ready to go, how can a program like that enhance the community at large and going forward?
Well, let me try to get a lot into that question.
Okay.
Well, let me talk about community colleges. Community colleges across the nation started in the mid-'60s. Pauldie Camp started in 1970, 1971. So we're relatively new in the big world of higher ed, where some colleges were started in the 17 and 1800s. But here in the modern era, that stigma is gone away. People know the value of a community college. They know the quality of the education they get. You can't talk to a politician, you can't talk to a governor, you can't talk to the President of the United States without them bragging on the community college system, how it gives access to higher ed to so many people, how it's so affordable, how it's so much quality. And we teach programs like electronics and robotics and nursing with high-cost equipment, high-cost resources, but they're right here in your neighborhood that you have access to them. So that stigma is going away. Now, in our high schools, we have a program called dual enrollment.
Yeah.
And actually by legislature, by Virginia law, House Bill 1184, it says every high school, public high school, has to have an arrangement with their local community college where qualified high school students have access to college classes and have the ability to get a 1-year general studies certificate or a 2-year associate's degree while they're in high school. So we teach what we call these dual enrollment by college qualified professors, sometimes our faculty, sometimes the high school faculty. But they're taking classes in math and English and history and biology, those transfer classes that, again, wherever they go, they'll transfer to that 4-year school if that's where they want to go. Or if they haven't finished, they can come to the local community college and finish up much faster. Now, those 4 students that were highlighted in the newspaper, those are 4 students, again, honor students, who took full advantage of all those classes that we had to offer, probably did some nights and some summer classes, sacrificed some of their social life, some of their club or sports life to get this 2-year degree. But they will graduate with a 2-year associate's degree several weeks before they get their high school diploma. And that is wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Because think of that, they've saved $52,000.
Wow.
And when they go to that 4-year school, they're 2, 3, 4 times more likely to graduate than a regular student. So it's an amazing program.
Wow.
It's also, this year, we'll have 1 student, a homeschooled student. Homeschool took full advantage of dual enrollment, is going to graduate with her associate's degree before she graduates with that high school diploma, and she's already been accepted to the University of Virginia. So quite a number of success stories. Your local community college, again, is a stepping stone. It's just such an asset. And again, many people realize that now.
If I'm a parent and I'm interested in this program, where do I go?
Yeah.
Well, probably the easiest is to go on the web, www.pbc.edu. And we have a whole section about dual enrollment. We have frequently asked questions and things like that. The other thing that we have, every high school in our service region, and again, we cover Franklin, Suffolk, counties of Isle of Wight, and Southampton, but every public high school has a high school career coach. That's a Paulding Camp Community College employee, works in a high school, whose sole job is to help that high school student answer the question, what's next? And our chancellor of our 23 community colleges in Virginia says we have way too many students that come to college and they major in I don't know. So we try to answer that question for them, get them thinking about it. But those high school career coaches know about dual enrollment, know how to sign up, and know the best way to maneuver that system and take full advantage of it.
Well, Dr. Conco, we thank you so much for coming. We love your tie. We love how you dress. It's
I have a teddy bear tie on.
You know you're ready for radio.
That's right. We're so happy you came. We will be right back.
If home is where your heart is, shouldn't your dollars be here too? You might think you're getting a better deal down the road when shopping at home actually makes more sense. Why waste gas and time driving everywhere when you can shop here in the place you call home? Your tax dollars stay in the local community, paving roads, building schools, making a better, safer town to raise our families in. That's one big way we can all make a difference in our town. Shop at home where your dollars make sense.
We are back. Mr. Ward, we have another guest.
Well, this is another interesting. I met Dr. Blow at a function, I think almost a Christmas function, and we was talking, and she said to me, "Oh, councilman," I said, "But you know I do a business," and she never heard of my newspaper. So when you don't hear my newspaper, I said, "Hold up, you don't know Suffolk Happenings? I got a TV show and I got radio." She said, "You the person I need to talk with." So we built up a relationship with that, and like I said, I've been trying to get them both on, and so happened they have a very busy schedule. I had one. Now we finally have one.
Well, I'm glad it happened. How are you doing?
Absolutely great to be
So
here.
great, so great. So tell us about what's going on at Paulding Camp.
Well, it's a lot going on, and I want to talk about just a couple of quick areas
Sure.
as they relate to scholarships and community engagement.
Okay, sure.
So if it's okay with you, I'll talk about
go
the
ahead.
first thing that's coming up, July 11. That's a really big deal for us.
Okay.
It's the first time we've done such an endeavor. We're going to hold a benefit concert. And the benefit concert will be at our Workforce Development Center in Franklin, July 11. And it's featuring an act that maybe some of your viewers have heard of. He's a big country music star. His name is Colton James.
Okay.
So the good thing about this particular individual is he came to us. He said,
Wow.
I want to do something for the community.
That's all right.
He owns a farm of about 300 acres out in Southampton County, and he is doing this for peanuts. That works for but the most important thing is all proceeds from the concert benefit faculty, staff through professional development. They will underwrite Math Academy initiative we have going
that's
on.
great.
And then the big thing is scholarship.
Okay.
So you hear a lot about scholarships, and you sometimes think, oh, they have enough. Oh boy, they don't need to be fundraising for more scholarships, do they? We have about 40 different funds, but it would surprise you, or maybe not, but the need still is so great.
Sure.
A credit hour at Paulding Camp Community College is $132.15 right now, which is the best bargain in town. But that is still out of reach for many. And so this concert is a really important effort for us to raise dollars to support scholarships.
Sure.
We do a lot in partnership with the business community because of the workforce development activities. We have the skills training. So ACE, I know you know them well, right up the street here from our Hobbs campus. They're partnering with us along with a lot of other businesses who work in the logistics space, the movement of goods and services around. So we're going to be having a big first ever activity with them June 6th, and it's called the Logistics Games.
Okay.
And hopefully the Olympics won't come after me for saying this, but it's an Olympic style competition where different companies that are in the logistics industry, they compete against one another in a fun but still competitive environment. And the other really good thing, like Tom Joyner says, is a party with a purpose. All proceeds from that endeavor are going towards scholarships.
Wow.
And these scholarships are targeted to workforce development areas like forklift, logistics operations, instrument technicians, people who don't necessarily want to go to school 2 or even 4 years, but they want to come to the college, get the skills and certifications they need to get a job.
Let me ask you a question. And when we talked that night, it's just something that got to me, and the community I'm at, Harveyville area, Huntersville area, and I just don't see that push to certain communities want to go to college.
That's right.
And we were saying with it, and I'm so glad y'all got the workforce development and the forklift, because how do we turn them kids who somewhat struggle, not do as well in high school, get to these trades or something?
Exactly.
How do we turn that? Because, like one time, Ms. Evans, we were talking, we're not just competing with the world.
That's exactly right.
So how do we get them interested?
First, we got to get their attention, and I want to offer a point of view.
Right.
It is not just the high school students.
Okay.
There are adults that are underemployed
Right,
or
that's right.
unemployed. That it's just latent potential that we can capitalize to move the community forward. The African American community is extremely impacted. Where there are a lot of folks who don't have their GEDs, don't have an advanced education, don't have skills training. So scholarships is one big way, but what we want to do is start reaching out more, mentoring, helping them understand, talking, going out. This kind of show is one way to get that message to them. One, it doesn't cost a mint. 2, there are people just like you who've been where you are, who can get their lives turned around by coming to Paulding Camp. 3, you don't have to go to school for 4 years or 2 years. 1 class at a time. Get an education, change your life, is our theme, and we just got to get them in the door. We have these adult career coaches, these job placement coaches, and that's their job, is to go out in the field, meet with folks who are maybe in at-risk categories, maybe unemployed, helping them do their resumes, helping them explain about attire, doing mock interviews, and then the scholarships to let them know there is money. If you have a will, there is a way. There is a way.
Can you tell us about the Rural Horseshoe?
Yes, there's the Rural Horseshoe Initiative. So Dr. Conco's talked to you about the Chancellor of the Virginia Community College Systems, and he expressed something that's really interesting to me, that there are two Virginias, not Virginia and West Virginia, but if you look at what's called the Golden Crescent that goes from Northern Virginia to Richmond, Hampton Roads, the other side of that would be somewhere around in the educational attainment levels around Mississippi, in terms of educational attainment levels, which is almost unbelievable in Virginia. People who don't graduate high school, folks who don't advance and get a college degree, folks who are underemployed, who are struggling to survive. And so this Rural Horseshoe Initiative is one that we're working on, have a lot of emphasis on, where we're encouraging and incentivizing adults to go back to school, get their GED. Then we will transition them to skills training through the community college. There's a lot to it. I know you were probably running out of time. I'd love to talk more about it. Maybe I can come back at some point.
That's right. And you always have the newspaper.
Yeah.
Well, Ms. Blow, we appreciate you coming by, you and Dr. Conco, and coming and talking with us and sharing with the entire Suffolk community. This is a great, Mr. Ward, this was a fantastic show.
Like I said, I want to come back because there's so much things I want to mention. I know you can put it out there because I feel that it's important.
It is critically
it's
important.
Very important now with things are going in the world. We need to have that education. Education need to take us to the next level.
Thank you for being a mentor for folks who look like this young man.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Real quick before we go, don't forget in the 1st of June that we will have the Hamptons Ministers Conference. It's a very exciting time. Also in the month of August, 100 years of Church of God in Christ has been in the state of Virginia, and it all started here in the Suffolk, Virginia city, and up in Chuckatuck was the first home of Church of God in Christ, and they're coming here in August for their state convention honoring 100 years. And Mr. Ward, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I promise you, audience, Cheryl will be back soon. And we'll see you next time.